Distinguished good evening to the delegates on the dais and off the dais. I am Dr. Bhadri Raju, Professor of CSU in SRK Engineering College, affiliated to Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. And I will confine my presentation to the international recognition of professional qualifications with the sub-theme called the qualification frameworks. A total of 7 slides in my presentation. I will try to enlighten all those present here. What is necessary, what is happening around the globe now for international recognition, and what is the immediate action that is necessary in the nearest future in India to have a qualification framework. So initially, if we say qualification, basically as all of us know, it is something in the form of a certificate which is provided by an institution or a university, what we feel like a qualification. But actually these qualifications need to be assessed based on the learning outcomes of that particular qualification. And whatever the eminent persons delivered their presentations till now, their focus is on the process of accreditation, basically which is mainly for the quality assurance of the qualification system. But whatever the qualification frameworks I am going to present now, it is basically for the international recognition of professional qualifications. If you see any engineering student, because this particular theme is confined to, this is confined to the engineering stream. If a student completes an engineering course, the 2 directions in which he can move in general is either he may opt for a job, either in India or abroad, or he may want to go for higher studies. The changing nature of the work in the current global scenario demands for the more flexible and more skilled people who can move around the world internationally. That means mobility is going to play a very important role nowadays, either for the next qualification what the person wants to get, or he wants to get a job. So these qualification frameworks will mainly help us to have mobility across the countries, and to achieve this, however or wherever that qualification is acquired, that qualification may be acquired in India, or that qualification may be acquired in Singapore or Dubai or US. That qualification should have some common meaning. Then only it can be extended for a job or higher education. So classifying the qualifications should be done as per the learning outcomes, not based on the degree what he had. Because in general, you see the scenario in India, the type of education system is, we have school education system, we have vocational education system, we have technical education system and higher education system. So all these educational systems will issue different degrees and certificates where they should be classified based on the learning outcomes. For this, what is necessary is, we should establish national standards and levels. Number 2, promote the quality. Promoting the quality is through some regulatory authority like the AICTE and the NBA to promote the quality and assure the quality, which is the monitoring body. And we should have the facility to have comparison, because whoever providing the job, the employer, should have the facility to compare your qualification when you move abroad. And promote access to learning and transfer to higher levels. That means define what is the initial qualification entry point required for each and every degree. Now the important scenario what we see, agreement between university and university. Okay, if one university in my state wants to have an agreement with 10 universities in other countries, you just assume how the diagram will be. more rapidly it will become complex because these are bilateral agreements. Okay, how credit should be transferred, how this degree should be recognized, it will become more complex. So bilateral agreements will not work out. So what is needed here is, we need a qualification framework for each and every country, what is called national qualification framework. What this national qualification framework is going to do? It is going to classify all the qualifications based on the learning outcomes. That means we may have some certificate level courses, we may have some undergraduate courses, we may have some postgraduate courses or a doctoral degree courses. Classify all these qualifications based on their learning outcomes. In addition to this, you consider vocational education also, because for getting a job, vocational education courses will help a lot because they will improve the skills and knowledge of the labor who are going to be employed in different organizations. For this, what is needed is a national qualification framework is needed, and this national qualification framework is going to provide flexibility and transferability. This will provide mobility of the labor and the students, mobility of the labor for employment and mobility of the students to go for the higher education, and liberalization of trade in education and training. And it provides greater transparency also. Now most of the countries in the world will have qualification frameworks which are number of levels. The most common levels are 8. But you can see as an example, New Zealand will have 10 levels, UK with 8 levels, South Africa 8 levels, United Arab Emirates 10 levels, and now India has 10 levels of national qualification framework. If you see the different types of qualification frameworks, basically they can be classified into 3: international, national and translational qualification frameworks. International is a sector specific which is within a country. Sector specific means, is it related to vocational education, is it related to higher education, or is it related to a technical education like that? What can be called as sector specific qualification framework. Country-wide frameworks, what can be called as national qualification frameworks. For example, Australia has one qualification framework, Singapore has one qualification framework, and India has one vocational education qualification framework like this. But this qualification framework is going to classify the qualifications in that country. As one of the speaker has pointed out, qualification frameworks are not getting that much of success. Why? Because I am going to classify all the qualifications in my country. If I am not in a position to compare them with the qualifications in the other country, how the qualification frameworks will succeed? So what we need a cooperation between the national qualification frameworks, for which what is needed is the translational qualification frameworks, among which it can be classified into 2. These translational qualification frameworks, more appropriately saying, they can be called as regional qualification frameworks, RQF. Is it within the region or outside the region? If it is within the region, it is something like, you see, European qualification framework, EQF. But the countries may not be in the same region. One best example is, you can see on the right side bottom, VUSSC. It is the Commonwealth Community. It is a virtual university which connects different countries' qualification frameworks. And if you see the regional qualification framework, basically a student is studying in a country A, he wants to move to country B for summer education by transferring his credits like that. In my country, an undergraduate may be at level 6, at the other country the undergraduate may be at level 8. I want to bridge the gap between these 2 national qualification frameworks. For that purpose, I am going to use the regional qualification framework. That means what you will get using this regional qualification framework is, you will be getting more coherence in terms of the qualifications. Moreover, it is possible to transfer the credits, etc. Because the universities are now struggling how to transfer the credits whenever there is a bilateral agreement between one university in one country and the university in the other country. But if you have a regional qualification framework, you can see country A will have a set of qualifications, country B will have a set of qualifications. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the qualification levels in the qualification framework of country A. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are the qualifications in country B. Now you can see in that the qualification in country A is mapped to level 6 in RQF, whereas the qualification 8 in country B is mapped to regional qualification level 8. That means in one country, whatever the qualification attained at level 6, it is equivalent to level 8 in the other country. So this is what can be called as referencing in the regional qualification framework. This mainly will increase the cross-border referencing and it will increase the mobility. You can see the different regional qualification frameworks that are developed. One important regional qualification framework that was developed is the European Qualification Framework, where 2007 it was accepted by the European Council. By 2012, all the countries in the European Union, all the 40 countries in the European Union are connected to the regional European Qualification Framework. The advantage with that is, in all these 40 countries in European Qualification Framework, whoever will move from one country to the other, that qualification can be recognized by either an employer or the other university in the other country. So like that, several qualification frameworks are there. European Qualification Framework, Pacific Qualification Framework, South African Development Framework, Asian Qualification Framework, Caribbean Community, the Translational Qualification, and the Gulf Cooperation Council. By grouping all the 7 Gulf countries, there is a Gulf Cooperative Council meta framework also. So, but can we link all these regional qualification frameworks or not? Why? Because if there are 10 countries in the regional qualification framework, it will enable you only to have a referencing within those 10 countries. But if you want to move outside this region, then again there is no referencing between these regional qualification frameworks. For that, what is needed is the Global Educational Qualification Framework, GEQF. Basically, if you have a unilateral recognition, the receiving university has to recognize your degree. If you have a mutual recognition, both sender and receiver will have recognition. But if it's a multilateral recognition, then what is needed is a Global Educational Qualification Framework is needed. For this, in India, already there is a framework called National Vocational Educational Qualification Framework, which is recently proposed by the government of India. Even though it is late, it is proposed in 2013. It is mainly for the vocational courses, which enable the skilled labor to transfer their knowledge to the other countries. But still, we are waiting for the qualification framework in higher education and technical education. And UNESCO's Institute of Lifelong Learning, in its meeting held in Malaysia last year with the European and Asian ministers, they came to an agreement that why can't a global inventory framework be established so that a qualification attained in any country in the world can be transferred to the other country. That UNESCO's Institute of Lifelong Learning has now involved 31 European countries and 24 ETF partner countries, 34 covered by the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning, and that has selected 5 countries basically. In those 5 countries, India is the one which is trying to adopt the global qualification framework. For that purpose only, India has proposed last year the National Vocational Education Qualification Framework. So if this framework, global framework is not there, we may have some region qualification framework which is related to SAARC countries. I can exchange the qualification within these SAARC countries, but I cannot exchange it with other regional qualification framework. So for this global qualification framework will definitely provide, will act as an instrument for exchanging the qualifications, not only for higher education, but also for the employment in other countries also. I think now, thanks for NBA for giving me this opportunity to have a presentation on this qualification frameworks. So we, the government of India and NBA and AICTE should take an immediate initiative on this and see to that we should be very active in this construction of this framework called Global Qualification Frameworks. Thank you.
But this stick is really something, and all my stuff is there. It's you never should leave your stuff on the table. It might be that the lady who actually printed this out, she might have taken it. They got a new print out, so theoretically she's still.
And Dr. Vishwanand ji.